Hi everyone. Well, we're gonna get excited to start our new project. I've been telling you I've had a project in mind that I wanted to do, and I thought I'd like to take you along with, and maybe you'd be interested in doing it with me. And we are going to make a cake mix box retro kitchen journal / recipe, whatever you want to call it. But as you probably have seen, around Valentine's Day, I took a Jell-O box. I made a little journal out of a Jell-O box. At Christmas, I made a Christmas journal out of a Jell-O box. Well, today we're going to use a cake mix box and make a journal out of this. And we're going to do it in a retro 50s kitchen-y kind of vibe thing. Now, of course, you can do whatever you want, but this is what we're going to do, what I'm going to show you how to do. So what you need to do is get yourself, and you might even have it in your kitchen already, a cake mix box, okay? And so what I did was I cut the box apart. I cut off all the edges and left this intact. Now, if you have a really good sharp scissor and steady hand, you can cut it with your scissor. I used my ruler and an X-Acto knife, so I would get nice, crisp, clean edges. And that's what I did. I just took off all the excess. I am just going to tell you for now, to the nutrition fact part that was on the box here on the side, keep that. We might use that for something. And then I don't know, I kept these two things. I don't know if we're going to use like part of it here. I don't know, but cut your box apart like this, leave everything intact, and at least keep the nutrition. I don't know if we'll use those, but anyway. So that's what you're going to need first. And let me put that to the side. Just to give you a few ideas on what can go in it as far as papers, okay? So if you have an old vintage recipe book, maybe from church, I love the church cookbooks that they used to come out with years and years ago. If you have any vintage or older church cookbooks, or just a vintage cookbook. Also, if you have, I have some of my grandma's old table linens, and what I did was I just folded them, put them on my printer, copied them. So these are actual tablecloths that I own. So if you have some of those, you can make copies of your tablecloths, or any kind of your vintage linens. If you have things like that, you can do that. I have a few, but these are the colors that'll go with what we're doing. So I just made copies of my 2 tablecloths that I own. On the back, I just found some old, just looking around the internet, just found some old vintage ads, and I copied those on the back, and an old simplicity pattern front that I saw with aprons. So I just printed those on the back. That's an idea you can do. Also, I want to show you that I did buy some digitals, and I want to show you the ones that I'm going to use. First, before I do that, like I said, the old cookbooks, get some old cookbooks, because we're going to do some with recipes. If you have a vintage magazine, I picked up this vintage Woman's Day magazine from 1950 at a antique shop, and it has all these beautiful ads in it. I love this. And then it has black and white. And then it has so much in here. Vintage ads, all different kinds of things like this. So if you can get your hands on a vintage magazine of some sort, that would be fun too. You don't have to, but it would sure be fun to have this. Okay, so I have this here that I already, it was falling apart, but I kind of broke it apart a little bit. I took the staples out of it. And so Okay, so if you have tablecloths, if you have vintage fabric, you can also make copies of your own vintage fabric to use for your own journal. If you don't have vintage fabric, I found Gail Agostinelli from, she has a shop on Etsy called Cinnamon Tea. I will list everything below. She has 2 kits of feed sack samplers called Vintage Feed Sack Scraps. And so I did buy one of her kits. I don't know if it's number 1 or 2. I'll have to find out which one I bought, but she has 2 of them. I bought one of them, and they are so fun. They are going to be perfect colors for our journal. And so I did buy one of her kits, and like I said, I'll link it below. And on the back of these sheets, I printed a kit that I use quite often. And this kit is Lace Papers 2 by Tailor Made Journals. Lorna from Tailor Made Journals. I use these all the time. These are such a staple to me. I just love, it's probably one of my favorite kits ever. So like I said, I'll link them below. So this is Lace Papers number 2 from Tailor Made Journals. And I printed those on the back of Gail's Agostinelli's Vintage Feed Sack Scraps. So we're going to use some of that. Also, just some coffee dyed paper. So we're going to have some plain paper in there. It's going to be quite a colorful, busy little journal, but so much fun. And I just love the 50s retro vibe thing. So just get some coffee dyed paper. If you don't have coffee dyed paper, you can use, you know, just take some copy paper and drip some tea or coffee on it. It's real easy. Or there's digitals out there too. And so some coffee dyed paper. And then the another thing, if you have, you might have some recipe cards around, some vintage ones or just whatever you have. We're going to use some of those. If you don't have any, I found on the graphicsfairy.com, you know, I always tell you to go there. If you can't find something, you probably will find an image there. So if you go to graphicsfairy.com, they have free printable. These are 2. There's another set of 2 retro recipe cards you can print out. So that's a suggestion there if you don't have any of your own recipe cards to use. And then the other digitals I used, and these are just what I'm using. I'm not telling you have to use them, but if you're looking for some, I need some retro housewife type digitals. See, so this kit here is one kit. It's called Retro Housewives. The Etsy store is Digital Bits and Pieces, and I will have that information down. So I printed out a bunch of them. And then, oh gosh, one more thing, one more kit I used, which I want to show you. Let me reach over here. And this digital kit is from KB and Friends. And I actually have 2 kits. It's Retro Food Box Tops and Retro Food Kitchen Ephemera. So we're going to use some images from here. I'm sorry, not those. Let's see. Let me find you my images. Sorry, I got some mixed up. Here's some, you know, they have some really cute, and they're upside down, sorry. Some real cute images in their kits. So we're going to use some of these. So from KB and Friends, Retro Food Box Tops and Retro Food Kitchen Ephemera. So I got a lot going on here, but it's all going to come together. It's all going to be super fun. I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera there. So just some ideas. Look around your house, look around your kitchen, see what you have. You might have some things you can just make copies of already. If not, these are great, great digital kits that I found that I think are going to be perfect for this journal. So, and then, like I said, look at some vintage cookbooks, vintage magazines. women's magazines would be fine. So I thought today we could at least work on the cover. So like I said, I use an X-Acto knife and a ruler to cut this out so I'd get nice even edges. If you want, let's see, I'll measure this for you. So my cover is 7 inches. 7 inches this way, okay? And then this here, the cover this way is 5.5. So 7 inches this way and 5.5 this way. I like the, this will be perfect spine. This is actually 1 3/8 on the box that I have. I don't know if boxes in like Europe have a different size, but whatever size you're using, you know, it'll work with what you have. What we're going to do is collage some recipes over this part here, and that'll be covered up. That's what we're going to use for here. And then my idea will be to we're going to make 2 signatures, and we're going to use about, I'm guessing maybe about 8 pages, 8 sheets of paper per signature. So that's going to be a nice size. And I thought my idea is we're going to sew the signatures. We're going to make a template. I'll show you how to do that in another video. We're going to make a template. We're going to sew the 2 signatures right into here. And then on the outside, we're going to cover this here with a piece of like vintage fabric and add a piece of lace. So then your signatures will be sewn into this here, but we're going to cover it with fabric. It's going to give it some strength. And then we're going to cover this with the recipes, and then you can also put a piece of fabric here first, and then we'll sew the signatures and then cover it with fabric. So anyway, we'll go through that. But I thought today we could at least, you know, if you could get this cut, I'll show you my idea for, you know, covering the inside. So just get your recipes, and we're going to start ripping them up. We're going to put them all different which ways, no right or wrong. If you don't want to use recipes for here, you can use old ads, whatever you want to use. But I thought I'm going to use recipes, and I just have pulled a few sheets of them out here, and I am going to cut these little, it was in a spiral, you know, most of them are in spirals, so I just want to cut these spirals off here so they're not in my way. I hope y'all all are doing well. We have a bunch of storms coming through again, the Midwest, so, but so far so good. We're doing all right. And you know, it is what it is, right? We got to deal with this weather. It's kind of crazy weather. But yeah, I hope you get excited about this. It's something different. It's something that I've been wanting to do. And gosh, it would be fun to keep, you know, some of your recipes in. I think it would be fun to give as a cute gift for someone, a friend, a birthday gift, or just something fun. Just something fun in a different time era. It's not vintagey. It's just, I love the 50s. I love the 50s and 60s retro, anything like that. And so anyway, okay, let's get going. So I am just going to, I think I might, instead of just ripping, excuse my reach here, I'm getting my tear ruler. I think I'm just going to start tearing these up like this. In any which way, really. Just start ripping them up. And it's just going to be a fun backdrop, I think, if we just do it this way. Right? Something like that. And it's fun to even look at these recipes, too. I mean, some of them you know, I thought, oh, yeah, that sounds good. So look at them before you rip them, because you might want to try them before you rip them up or save them, because we probably will put some of these recipes in pockets and things like that. So, all right. And I'm going to rip up one more here. I don't know. I'm just ripping them like this. Okay. And it's just for background, okay? And we can even rip them smaller into smaller pieces. So I'm just going to put a bunch of them over here. I have my glue book right here. And let's get started. I know I kind of picked out a bunch of digitals, so, you know, it's sometimes you just, you know, to make something like this, you just need the right type, you know, the right type of digital. So, and then the other thing I'm going to do, oh, let me get that up there. Hold on. Can't talk and do this at the same time. I apologize. Let me get that one up there like that. We can always trim off the edges if it overhangs. I think it's probably better if it does overhang. Oh, let me rip that off again. Sorry, I got to get more glue on there. I think I'd rather have it hanging over, because then you can always trim off, because you already cut your... Oh, you know what would be fun? Instead of doing it straight, how about if we go like this? Oh, that would be even better. All wonky all over. I think that's a great idea. Let's do it this way. Of course, you can put them straight if you're, yeah, you know, sometimes I just don't like straight. I just want it to be all over the place. Oh, this is a great idea. Now I forgot what I wanted to tell you. Oh my gosh. Okay, slow it down, man. Slow it down. I got too excited about this project here. All right. Oh, this is great, isn't it? Isn't this fun? This is going to be fun. And then once we get this down, I would let it dry flat before you start bending it, you know. So, okay. So you'll have fun just gathering things up for this project. I think it would be great. I'm going to put this one totally upside down. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. Now I remember. Okay, so for this journal, once we get this cover done like this and it dries completely, I'm going to take my corner chomper, my corner punch, and I'm going to round the corners. I'm going to round the corners. I don't want them pointy like this. So all my, and you don't have to do this, but I am going to round the corners of the cover and all my pages. That's something different. I wanted to do something different. So that's another idea, and that's what I'm going to do for this one. Okay, so keep that in mind if you like that look. Okay, another one. We'll change my glue page here. Yeah, this will be a fun project. Something light. If you're into that era, retro era. I do love stuff like that. And I think I'll put this one right like that. Okay. So far, so good. And you know, you can even, if you want, after you get this done and the glue dries and you cut everything off and corner around if you want, you could even stitch around if you like. It's another option, up to you. Just letting you know, another option. If your sewing machine will be nice and go through this. It's not thick cardboard, you know, the boxes are fairly thin. I think if you lengthen your stitch, to about 3 on your sewing machine. And go slow. Don't be a lead foot on your sewing machine. I think this would be super fun to stitch around. So I might keep that in mind as well. We'll see. And this is pretty fast too. And I like it just with the recipes for myself because it's like a nice neutral background on the cover, because I have ideas for something that's going to go on the front and back cover that's colorful. So I would recommend, if you can, to use a neutral, neutral pages, color pages like recipes, okay? Because I do have some ideas to put on the inside of the covers that will be very colorful. So let me do that. We're almost done with this. So yeah, just gather your pages together. Like I said, I think we're going to do about 8 pages per signature, 2 signatures. We'll see. But that's kind of my idea right now. Okay, I'm going to put that one this way. Couple more. There's one for pepper steak. Yeah, okay. Get your glue sticks out. This is going on pretty nice with the glue sticks. And I just emptied one, so let me get another one here started. I use Uhu sticks. I'm happy with those. There's some, everybody's got a different glue stick they use, and I think they're all good out there, really. It's just whatever you can get your hands on for the price that, you want to do. Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to do like that. And then a little bit more. Let's see here. Chicken Waikiki Beach recipe. Wow, huh? That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Okay. How about that? And then let's see what else we have here. One more, maybe. Now I'm being picky of what I'm picking here, aren't I? Okay, this one looks good. This has a lot of writing on it. Okay. Oops. Hold on. There we go. And I'll put this one. Did I put enough glue on here? Let's see. Okay. I think I'll have to do one more on the bottom. Just a little bit here on the bottom. And let me just rip this part off here. And save all your bits and pieces, because we'll be using it for ephemera. I think it'll be fun to make ephemera for this journal too, especially with these kitschy housewives and things. So okay, I think I'll do that. Okay. All right, so that was pretty quick, right? Now, what I would suggest, like I said, is leave this dry. Okay, there we go. I'm going to leave this dry now before I do anything else. So Once this dries, I'm going to leave it flat. I'll probably put something heavy on it to weigh it down. And then what we'll do is, I want you to do is we'll trim all the excess papers off, okay? And then if you want, which I will do, I'm going to round the corners, and hence all the papers will be rounded as well. And it gives just a nice soft look. I think it'll be great for this journal. And then I'm going to decide if I want to stitch around here, because we just did glue stick on here, and it probably would be a good idea if you want to. If not, just make sure you use, maybe when you're gluing these down with glue stick, check your edges and then go around all your edges and make sure your papers are glued really well if you're not able to sew. Yeah, that would be good. So either that or sew around, and that's what we're doing on the first video. Like I said, I'll link everything down below, the digitals that I have that I'm using, in case you want to look at them and you're interested. And then what else can I tell you to gather? We're going to do some envelopes. We're going to get some window envelopes. Let me see if I can tell you which ones. We're going to use one of these. So look for an envelope with a big window, and then a regular envelope, legal envelope with this kind of window. We're going to do a couple pockets, make pockets with those. If you have some, vintage wallpaper, vintage kitchen-y wallpaper, we're going to use that. If you have some guest checks, we're probably going to do something with those. Napkins, kitchen-y napkins, we can, you can add those in. So just think retro 50s kitchen-y thing, and see what you can come up with to put in your journal, and check out the digitals that I'll list below. Get yourself a cake mix, and now you have to bake the cake too, right? And tell us what recipe, what are you going to do with the cake mix? I want to know, because, I like using the cake mixes and glorifying them with extra ingredients, so they're not just the mix itself. So if you have any good cake box mix recipes to do, let us know about it. We might get some recipes from all around the world that we can enter, write down into our cookbooks here. So, okay, girls, I'm really excited about this project, as you probably could tell. So I hope you're interested, and we're going to keep on going, working on these videos. So gather up, and then I'll see you in the next video, and have a blessed day. Talk to you soon. Bye.